Hello and welcome back to the channel. As you can probably see from the title, there's a brand new bike today, and I would say there are 4 motorbikes that are so beautiful they are works of art. One of them is the Harley Davidson Softail Deluxe, another is the Indian Vintage, another is the MV Agusta Super Veloce, and the other one, in my book, is this. Triumph Speedmaster, 11,850 pounds, 1200cc, 76 horsepower, and can I say it, am I pushing it too much to say a breathtaking bike? The kind of bike that if you're lucky enough to live in a villa, you'd have it on a special, or parked up next to a special wall, pride of place in the living room, just as a piece of artwork, not even to ride. And it is, I tell you what, first thing I want to show you is something apart from the looks that really surprised me. This is a 2021 bike, Euro 5, and it is without question the best sounding Euro 5 motorbike I've ever heard. I hope it gets picked up on the video. Well, I don't understand exhausts, and I don't understand Euro 5, because I know I mentioned in the Street Scrambler video, but some of the Euro 5 bikes I've had, the Indian Scout Bobber, BMW R9T, just, it's borderline pathetic, the sound, but this is a genuinely brilliant sound. So I don't know if motorbike companies have now figured out how to make a good characterful exhaust for Euro 5 regulations, but this is a genuinely good sound. Forget about Euro 5 and everything, it's brilliant and I wouldn't change it. I've taken it out to the Kent countryside, about 40 miles away from where we live, a mixture of motorways, winding B roads and through towns as well, and it is stunning in every situation. One thing that did surprise me, I'm 6'1", and I rarely say this, but if you're 6'2" or over, this bike will actually be too small for you, because this is the position when I'm riding, and when you're turning it does get quite close to the knee with the handlebar. So if you're any taller than me, I'm 6'1", 80 kilos, I would say this bike would be slightly too small for you. But what a beautiful bike, the proportions, the detailing, everything. I'll go do a proper little walk around when we grab a coffee, because we're right in the countryside. We know a spot, I think just about a mile away, so I'll ride off now. But I was surprised riding down here. This is genuinely a quick bike. I really was surprised by that, with the great 1200 engine that suits it so brilliantly. Handling nice, gear changing nice, everything you'd expect from Triumph. It feels like an absolute top level bike, and it really is a joy. Just with that riding position, sitting up and just enjoying it, just lends itself so well to beautiful relaxing rides going about 60 miles an hour. But let's head off, we'll go grab a coffee and I'll show you a bit more about the bike. This is a brilliant spot that Monica and I would never have found if I wasn't green laning with the Bonneville probably about 10 videos ago, which is about half a mile that way, and we just googled nearest coffee shop. This came up, but you would never find it on any search if you're just randomly looking for a good coffee shop. I'll put the link in the description. It's called the Deer Cafe. Brilliant cakes, great coffee, and in the sun with all these tables outside, it's a beautiful spot. I gave the scrambler back, street scrambler back this morning, and as I gave it back they swapped bikes for the Speedmaster, so I literally had no time in between. Usually I have a day or so. So I haven't processed it fully, but I was trying to figure out if the street scrambler is my favourite bike. So it's a bit heavy for off-roading. You lose a bit of feel compared to the street twin, but it's got that extra element of cool over, for example, the street twin. So it's a tough one. I'm still processing it in my mind. Where do I see it? I would definitely buy one. So if someone said, would you spend your own money on it? Yes, definitely I would. But it's just, am I willing to sacrifice some practicality for the cool factor over, for example, the street twin? I think I would sacrifice it. I think I'd be happy to sacrifice that practicality, but it's a tough one. It really is, because the street twin also is a really good bike. So if people ask what would you go for, street twin and save a bit of money and it's more fun on the road, or the street scrambler, which is more expensive, is cooler, but it is much more compromised. Oh, that's such a tough call. I still haven't fully made it up in my mind. It's a shame, because the Speedmaster came, and when you get a press bike, you never know. You never know how it's going to be spec'd, if it's going to come with panniers, single seats, any additions or add-ons. And I had my heart on riding it down with Monaco on the back to Brighton tomorrow, because Brighton from London is a perfect day trip. But it's single seat. It's single seat. It's so annoying, especially with these bikes. Just like the Indian Vintage Dark Horse, when it comes with a single seat, these bikes are made for going two up, you know, on a nice day trip or a bit of touring. So I was a bit heartbroken that it only came with a single seat. But tomorrow we'll pack up the panniers. Monica and I will take my Bonneville and we'll go down to Brighton. And finally, it's midway through summer, and this is, I would say, only about the second or third week we've actually had really nice weather. So got to make the most of it. Let's do a front to back walk around of this beauty. So, starting with these, I love these really fat, chunky tyres with a very nicely styled front mudguard. Again, feature I love on a lot of Triumphs, the rubber gaiters. Well designed indicators actually, I don't think I'd change those in this. This is a really kind of period style piece. The headlamp with this great chrome detailing on the side. Looks to me like an LED headlamp with something that really makes the bike, and it makes the whole feel of it. These handlebars completely pulled back. I've never ridden a bike like it. Really nice, comfortable, upright riding position. Mirrors in a very good spot. Turn on the bike and this is what you see. Very, very simple. On this side you've got the information button to see miles per gallon, things like that. Cruise control here. On this side, two riding modes, rain and road. And look at this. This is what do we have here? Okay, so miles, 1,000 miles since new, trip 1, trip 2, MPG 60.9 MPG on this 45-minute ride that I've done. Let's get back to the bike. So, oh, I love this. That classically styled Triumph badge is absolutely beautiful with this Triumph detailing there, kind of bronze colour surrounding the Triumph logo. And here, just underneath the seat, you can see beautifully positioned and hidden away, just enough to give you a sense of what's going on. You've got the rear spring. I'll just turn off the ignition, and actually that brings me to that. This is where the ignition is, right on the side of the bike. I love that. Exhausts on either side, genuinely, and I really do mean this. Forget about Euro 5, this bike sounds absolutely incredible. And something that you may not be able to tell, if I just go back, just looking at the size of the bike, because it's often hard gauging the relevance of how big something is. It's actually a small bike. It's 263 kilos, which isn't light, but physically it's a small bike. And at 263 kilos, it really does feel incredibly light because the seat height is so low. In the beautiful country lanes of Kent, this bike feels absolutely perfect, just laid back, surprisingly fast. And I said it, but it genuinely, this has a proper turn of power. But if you compare it to a big Harley or a big Indian, it really does feel extremely at home here, and it is a joy to ride. I really do mean it. Just every single second of riding this, just that super relaxed riding position, the amazing seat, and the fact that the seat height's so low. We just showed Monica on it, but it's so easy and unintimidating to ride, and that's a really nice thing. If you just fancy just sitting on it, laying back and just riding without a care in the world, this is a carefree style bike. You don't need to overthink anything, you don't need to feel like you're attacking the bends, although it is genuinely fun on the roads. Just since this morning when I got this bike, this has actually grown on me more than I thought. Sometimes my expectations are sky high of a bike, and I already think it's going to be my favourite bike. Pretty sure this bike hasn't been a gigantic sales success, and I know that the bobber will get all of the headlines, so this often goes under the radar, and I don't 100% know why, because this is a superb bike and very well suited British roads, but also European roads in general, because compared to the Harleys or the Indians, it does make a lot of sense here, and it is a joyous bike to ride. It's grown on me a massive amount. And if you look at this bike here with that street sign, we could be back in the 1950s or 60s. It's so true to the styling, isn't it? Yeah. It's just brilliant. I think this is the most true to the classic Triumph styling. And imagine it with a comfy seat on the back, a backrest on there, and a pannier on either side. I think this would be heaven for some proper two-up touring. Absolute heaven. Gear for the day. Exklusiv helmets, French company. They're only made in small numbers, I think, these. It's not one of the big companies, but this is the Rage Shiny Black. Possibly the most comfortable helmet that I own. Beautiful padding, visor that you can just take off, and it's held there with a buckle, but it's a really nice quality, slightly special feeling helmet. It really is a nice one, this one. Good for the summer as well, with a wide open visor. Gloves, very good again for the summer because it's ventilated throughout. These are the REV'IT Fly 3 gloves. Really nice summer riding gloves. With, from Switzerland, made in Portugal, the Rokkertech jacket. This is pricey, but it's a beautiful quality jacket and quite unusual to get a nice cool brown jacket. Great quality lining and just supreme quality throughout. With the hood jeans, SK11s, slim fit jeans, AAA rated, so the highest possible rating you can get for any jeans, with the Furygan Melbourne boots. Just a very simple, classically styled boot from the French company Furygan. Oh, and actually one other thing I'll show you, because I've got a kind care package from Triumph. This is one of Triumph's lifestyle collection. They got some really nice bits like caps, gloves that you'll see me wearing a lot. That's one of their belts. Just got back, and what a beautiful ride. It's just such a nice, easygoing, relaxing bike to live with. And I find it interesting actually comparing it to the Indian Scout that I tested out about 3 months ago, and I absolutely loved the Scout, but it's kind of two different bike companies going about making their version of a similar bike, because the Scout is a thug of a bike. It's got over 100 horsepower, it's rock solid rear suspension, so you smash over the potholes, but it is a beast of a bike. Off the scale cool. Whereas the Speedmaster, the British equivalent, is the gentleman version of the bike. It's refined, the suspension is perfectly soft and forgiving. It just feels like the gentleman version of the Scout. Still haven't figured out which one I prefer, actually. They're both a very, very different take on a similar bike, but both amazing. But that's it. I've absolutely loved, and I really do mean it, I've loved day one with this bike. I've got 6 more days left, and I can't wait to see if I feel the same, or if the love of the bike grows over the week. But thanks so much for watching. Please do give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.